Good afternoon, traders, and welcome to another edition of Awesomecalls Trading.com live recap webinar. Today, I just want to discuss about 5 to 7 different trade ideas that we did out of the 12, 13 that we picked this morning. Today, boy, you almost had to make your money quick, like real early in the morning. You had about 1 hour, 30 minutes because the market just turned flat for the day. And I mean, like when you look across the board, as we are, I mean, I'm looking at Shop just straight across, no momentum to the upside. Boeing, no momentum to the upside. Um, I'm looking at the semiconductors, the Cueros, and the lights. I mean, I'm talking just stuff straight across. I mean, there's just no movement. I mean, um, just they all look like this MNK chart right here, just tight range within a 30-cent range. Um, it's crazy. But hey, that's what the market gave us today. So we had to try to take advantage of it with our list. And I felt that we uh, really did some research. Again, I'm up uh, typically 3:30, 4 o'clock every morning. It's just my body wakes up at that because I've been doing it for almost 16 years now. I really enjoy researching and finding stocks. I enjoy reading and learning about why a stock does what it does. And over the years, I've developed a great feeling for each stock. Why one's going to do this, why one's going to come down, why one's going to gap up, why one's going to sell off, and I'm able to put together a really pretty good game plan. And a game plan for me, and I'm sure you're seeing a lot of these now. They call them the fire plan, the blazer plan, the all these different plans. Every room's now got a plan. Well, you know, we've been doing this for since the day we started the chat room. And I was probably the only person that ever took the time, especially when I started the room, to write down a real plan, an idea of what a stock should do when it opens. And because of my, you know, prior 10 years of trading, I have learned pretty much the ins and outs of what a stock will do and how it will react, whether it's an offering, an FDA news, an IPO, buyout, a merger, phase one, two, and three, analyst calls, earnings, how to react to them, whether they're good or bad, what determines bad on earnings. There's just so much information to determine on each little stock, and every stock is different. All right, that's why we have thousands and thousands and thousands of stocks out there to choose from. You can go from Microsoft to Shop, from Boeing to a penny stock, from TDD to IB. You could go uh, Cuero to Kohl's. I mean, retail. I mean, Macy's. I mean, you could go Sprint for telephone companies. I mean, you could go Apple. Everything is there's something for everything. Every stock will trade a certain way. And over the years, you develop a skill level where you can understand, like, this stock will react like this on this news because I've seen it before. I understand it. Or this is an overzealous sell-off, or this is a panic. I love when halts come. I love when falling knives come because that's where my true talent, when you really watch me trade a falling knife, and a falling knife is where a stock's sitting at $30 and negative news impacts the stock, comes out and the stock plummets to $12 a share. When I'm in one of those, it is just to be able to watch how I read. I'm reading the news. I'm reading. I'm not watching the chart so much, or where it's plateauing to. I'm reading. I'm reading. I'm reading. Reading the news. And so what I do is, once I read through that news, I can determine, well, this is overdone. I'd be buying here at 12, out on dips to 10. I think the stock rebounds to 15 to 17. And I'm all over it. And I trade it live. And then when the stock reacts the way I've done it, that just kind of goes in my book of, okay, I remember this type of play and I know how to react the next time. And that's all it does. Whenever I'm doing these trades, or I'm giving these ideas and presenting them to the subscribers that pay $6 a day to be in here. I'm just giving them, like, basically what I look at in my pre-market list is opportunities. If you want to make money in the stock market, I believe these will give you really nice opportunities for you to bank on. And the mods in our room are really, really talented. I mean, they have their own stocks that they like to look at. They might have 5 or 7 of their own ideas, and we have a good 5 or 6 really great quality mods in here that will present a bunch of ideas, entries, and exits, what they're looking at. They'll even do their own pre-market plan of what they want to attack. And then you have my 12 ideas every day they're presented. And sometimes they are the same ones that some of the mods look at. And that way we don't overwhelm you in the room too much. We want you to see the alert, and this is why we designed the room the way we do. We don't put noise in the room. In other words, you're not paying for someone else's opinion. Okay? If John Smith comes in and he's a seasoned veteran coming from another room, and we have MNK to buy on the weakness, and John says, "I wouldn't do that. I think the stock's worth $3 a share. I wouldn't touch that at the 10-foot pull." Okay, well, that's hey, you'll never see that comment. And do you know why? I used to be in a room, and everybody knows where I came from, and they had at that time I think 200 subscribers. And every time I wanted to get in a trade, there would be always somebody give me a negative reason not to go into the trade. And I always thought, wow, maybe he's smarter than me, or maybe he knows more than me, or maybe this guy knows something, or this lady knows something I don't know. Everyone always has an opinion. And I used to, and in my gut, I would go, I want to go long. I want to long the stock. I want to take that and go. I know it's going to go. But then I would sit back and I see that comment, and then I'd back off. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I watch it go 6 points. And I think to myself, what a fucking idiot I am. Why didn't I go with my gut? Why did I think this person who I've never met in my life is telling me his opinion and I accept it? And after a while, when you go through that process, you realize how much you miss. And you know why I went through that process? Do you know why? Because I didn't know enough. So I allowed myself for others to think for me. And I told myself the only way I'm going to stop doing that is to really know how the stock's going to react, study, come up with my own opinion and stand by it. But it better hit what I say it's going to do. And the more I kept doing it and doing it and doing it, that's when I knew I was ready for a room, because I felt that I finally got the system. I understood it. Lo and behold, I've been in the chat room for 6 years. I've been doing 6 years in Awesome Calls Trading. 12, 13 chat rooms have been developed from here. They're all currently out there now. I must have trained hundreds of traders, if not, thousands of people have come through my door. And when you're in here, you're really learning the fundamental background of the stock. Not, yes, are you trading along the technical side of it? Absolutely. You can apply all the technical analysis to the stock. But in here, I give you the raw fundamental of why a stock's going to even move to begin with, because that is the essence of making money. If I mean, just think for a second, just sit back for 1 second, say to yourself, if I knew MNK would go to $10 today, I would load the boat up. I would bet 10,000 shares and make 20 grand today, because that's where the stock's going to go. If I know Airy is going to go to 23.24 at the open, I can buy 10,000 shares and 8,000 shares and 6,000 shares and make, $18,000, $20,000. Okay, but see, you're in that room. That's the beauty. You're in it. You found it. You just have to trust it now. And the only way to trust the process in Awesome Calls Trading is you have to be here a while. You can't come in here one day and evaluate the room and say, oh, because you get lost. You need to spend a week just really taking it all in, especially if you've come from another room. And if you're a newbie and you're learning this firsthand, it's a lot to take in. But you have to allow yourself to trust not only the moderator who's trying to help you, coach you, and educate you, but you gotta learn to trust yourself to take the call and not doubt it. You know. I have a question, AJ. If you long a stock and it goes against you, what do you wait and give it patience when you cut it? Oh, I just max. Like, If I tell myself max 80 cents, a dollar 20, and I'm in at 300 shares, then I'll say to myself, okay, that's the most I'm going to, because for every loss I take, Christian, I have to think, I have to go trade that. And so let's just say I'm in a trade and I'm down $200. I know I'll have to make one or two trades to go get back that 200 real quick today. So I don't allow myself to get where it's down 5, 6, 800. All right. Because then I know I have to, I'm basically chasing for the day to get back my money. I know I'm going to get it back because I have 12 other ideas. And that's the beauty of my, well, this didn't work. But I also don't size in. Over the years, I've developed the skill level where I'm okay taking 1 to 200 shares. I'm okay with 150 shares on a Boeing and get 3 points. I'm okay with that because at the end of the day, it adds up. Why do I want to take 250 shares and Boeing drops uh, 3 points on me? I'm down 750 and I have to wait and wish. I don't want to trade like that. I don't need that anxiety. Okay, I can get in shop for a point for 100 to 150 shares. I could do Boeing 50 shares, add on the dip of 50 more, and have 100 and rip 3 points. Next thing I know, I got $300 here, 240 here, like yesterday, 175 over here, 85 over here, 62 over here, and 130 over here. Voila, I got $800 for the day. I'm happy. So sometimes you'll hear me if I walk away, I'll put a stop loss. Yes, a firm one. Other than that, I just watch it. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to let this one go to $9.43. That's my bottom. But if it goes to 9.40 and I start to see it curl, I'll wait a little bit longer. Just a tad little longer. I'll allow myself to give it a little bit more room. But when I walk away, that's when I put a stop in and say, this is it. Because I can't afford to come back and it's down a point, 2 points, 3 points off my number. So you can't, when you're day trading, you can't just walk away. Unless you have a great swing trade I've given you, like an OTLK, and I said this will go to 250 to $4, and it hit $4 today after 3 days from a dollar. Or Madco, you could buy it on an option and just hold that for a couple weeks. You know what I mean? So, but when you're day trading and you walk away, even go to the restroom or to go get something to eat, you cannot walk away with your money. You have to respect your money. So you have to set up stops. Okay. And then the stops will determine like how much are you willing to lose. So if you say to yourself, Christian, I don't want to lose more than a point. Now that point can equate to $50, $80, $75. It's got to be realistic. So that way you know that you can go back and make that money. But sometimes what I've seen traders do is they go in, they size a little too much, and next thing you know, they're down $280 and they're chasing, and then they're up $50 for the day. Because the next trade they're only doing 50 shares or 70 shares. They don't want to go back into 200. And the other thing you want to really look at is when I come in the room and say, buy this weakness, buy here, buy right here, add here. This is down way too much, overdone, add on weakness, which in case of point, I told you on MNK and Airy this morning. I'm going to kind of just show you a couple trades that we did. So, yeah, like on Airy, I knew it was going to crawl around. So I was in it 1,000 shares solo. So for me, if it popped 10 cents, 12 cents, 13 cents, I'm happy. If it hits 15 cents, I'm $150 because I do know it's going to crawl. I'm looking the way it's trading. I'm watching it. This is going to move to the upside. Now imagine if I kept it and I hit 25 solo. It would have been the only trade I needed to do today. But at that moment, since I'm looking at 10 other stocks, I'll just take what I can get. If I can add $130 to my bank account, I'm going to add $130 to my bank account. Okay. So today we had MNK, ARI, ARWR, Light, Kohl's, Cuervo, NVIDIA, TDD, Boeing, Shop, and BCRX. I'll go into just a few of these, and I'll kind of just tell you how I read through the news. Okay, so let's start with MNK. MLK was closing at $13.03 yesterday. The MNK is having issues on their insurance coverage of their Acthar gel. And basically he filed a lawsuit in federal court against the Department of Health and Human Services and Centers for Medicare and Medicaid services. All right. And basically, their compensation, how they get paid through the Department of Human Health and Services and Centers, is being undermined. And so they're fighting, and it's the main essence of MNK, their company. Now you gotta understand, this company's been in trouble for a long time. This has been a citron, I believe, for a long time, for many, many years. I remember about 3 to 4 years ago, it was a $50 stock and $60 stock, and now look at it. It's pathetic, and it keeps dwindling away. Well, today's news brought the stock down to $4.50 under. I saw it sitting at 8.75, and I looked at the stock and I read the news, and the news told me that this stock is worth $10. All right, it's worth $10. Basically, I became an analyst at that moment. Just like analysts come out and give their ideas and opinions, I gave mine. My opinion is this stock should be sitting at $10 today. So therefore, I want you to go buy the weakness at $8.75. Any dip at the open towards 8, add to it, and the stock will rip, and you'll make at least 50 cents to $1 on the stock. That was the call. That was the trade. That was the idea. All right. It's all written down, all projected for you. All you have to do now is go in there and execute your position. All right. So here we go. MNK. All right. Ding, 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 ding. Market opens. Here's your 875 entry. I said add into dips, bottom curl it, take the stock to 10. And the stock has almost hit, it hit $9.93, within 7 cents of the goal. And you can see how the stock is grinding out. I still think 10 is in the cards. All right. Yes. Did it warrant this to get gutted? Yes. Yes, it did. But there's the professional side of me as a day trader and an analyst that will come in and go, but the stock should be sitting around $10 a share. How do I know this? This is where my 16 years of day trading comes in. I evaluate the news and determine it based on the stock price, what I feel it's worth. And 9 times out of 10, I'm right. I'll show you another one. The next stock was Airy. Airy, okay, now I really want you to watch this stock. It's really important you really understand what happened here. All right, because a lot of you don't. Now, Airy, okay, hold on, let me find it for you. Airy announced positive results from its interim analysis phase 3 trial. Okay, so that's good news. Their trial's going good. It's very positive results, and that's what investors want to hear. Why did it sell off? Well, ask yourself, why did it sell off? Well, let's look. Pull it up and just do a 20-day chart. Do you see how many traders have been holding investors to stock? Anywhere from the 20 range to 23. All right. And they've been holding for this news for such a long time, at least the last 20, 30 days. So this is what you call bag holders. People that have been holding the stock that want to sell into the stock that any remote news. Okay. So the news comes out, right? So guess what happens in pre-market, right? The stock pushes to 23.80. Now, you've got all these people holding at 20, 21, 22, all right? And now they see the stock up. Mostly retail sees it up. So what do? Retail wants to chase and sell off their positions that can. What happens is this was still good news. It was great news for the company. So when I walked into chat, the first thing I said was buy Airy at $20 a share. Okay? Buy Airy at $20 a share. And I even wrote it when I walked into the room. Not only did I put it in the chat log, I also said buy at 20 and 20.50 because at that time it was $20.20. I said, don't worry. The stock is going back to 23 or more. Okay? So positive results. I like it. Don't worry if it falls below 20. Don't. Buy it now. Buy, buy, buy the stock. Why? Because again, it's positive news. It's phase 3, and I could tell that the sell-off was overdone, way overdone, and I can also tell you because it was very thin. And thin, I mean, is the amount of shares. Look how thin it is. 9,000, 39,000, 20,000, 13,000. Again, now look over the bag holders. See that? 30,000, half a million, 30,000, 200,000, 300,000, 200. See, these are bag holders. They want out. So to me, I felt the stock was a buying opportunity at $20. So when I got in the room, see the timeline? See, this is me walking in the room. I typed right here, buy the stock at 20, 20.50. As soon as I alerted, now you have to understand, because of who we are the greatest fucking chat room on the planet. There's nobody that does what we do. There's nobody can move a stock like us to begin with. There's also, remember I told you, there's 12 chat rooms that sit in here. They pay a service fee to be in here. So they can relay this call to their traders so they can keep their subs happy because they live on off of their subs. I don't. I live off of trading. I know the power I have in here. So I know if I put this down and I put it in writing and I write it, 12 other rooms are going to pick it up along with our room. So here's my alert, 6:07 in the morning when I typed it in. And here's the first buyer that came in. See it? And then it took off from there. And it hasn't looked back since. And I first initially said the stock should go to 23. Well, clearly it passed through to 23 here. Right? And now it hits 26. Now what's happening here now is Wells Fargo and others have come out with an upgrade. The upgrade is simply to keep the stock up there so they could do an offering. So within 48 hours, an offering will be presented between 5 and 7 million shares, around $22 to $21 a share. And you'll see that. That's why they're offering. That's why they're holding it up. They need the money to complete the phase 3 and go for FDA approval. Okay. The next one we did that you've never traded before is ARWR. And I mean that you've never traded it before because you don't understand the trade. First of all, it was gapping up. Okay. You see how this thing ran? All right. So here's the previous day, right? And now you're gapping up. Why are you gapping up right here? Why are you gapping up after hours? Why? Here, I'll show it right here. You see this gap up right here? This was your buy yesterday. Traders in the room, listen to me very carefully. Listen to me very carefully. Write this down. This is a freebie tip for all of you, and all of you should have spotted this yesterday. Okay? But I can't be here to hold your hand every day like that because I don't know what sometimes happens after hours. But if you ever see a company hit the S&P 500 or the S&P 600 and it zoops up, it is okay to buy a couple hundred shares on the gap up after hours. Okay? Because the very next day, you're going to get a rip. And there's your rip. Now, a lot of you don't trade an S&P 600 gap. You don't even know what it is. You're out to lunch in your chat room because he only wants to trade Nvidia and Apple, and that's it. He calls you stupid if you don't trade those two stocks. Okay, but in here, okay, it's totally different. Okay, an S&P 600 means this is really great for investors, for shareholders, people that are involved in the company. This is what they wait for, that their company is finally acknowledged and in the S&P 600. Okay, so when it hits that, that's great news for the stock. It's not a short. Okay, LXLNX. Hold on. No, that's a scalp. I would not touch that on a short. If you do, stops at 105.80. I think you're just pushing yourself to try to force a trade. Okay, so what happens here is the stock is not going to fill a gap. You're not going to, don't think you're going to fill any kind of gap. It's not going to fill a gap. You're not going to fill this after hours gap from yesterday. That's not going to happen. The first thing the stock's going to do is pop and pop hard because shorts are now want to get out of the stock because now the company has positive news. And I'll show you. So this morning I said, all right, ARWR, gapping up, joining S&P. Great for shareholders. I love to see a push at the open to 22 or more and then a 1.5 point fade. Listen to how I put that. I want you to go long the stock and push it to 22 or more, scale in short and write it down 1.5 points, 1 to 1.5. Okay. All right. If this pulls at all, which it will not, but if it does, go long at 1950. This will not gap fill. You see, I gave you every step along the way how to trade ARWR. You see this? Just because it joined the S&P 600. What does this mean to you? Money. And I'm talking big money. Do you want to see? Okay. So imagine coming in and having a small account, 500 shares, and you bought when I told you. Market open, you bought 500 shares. Guess what happened? You made over 2 points in less than 10 minutes of work. $1,000. In the first 5 minutes, you scored 2.5 points, 2 points again. So 2 points in basically 5 minutes. Look at the timeline, 6:35. Why? Because it was positive news. Now, what did I tell you to do? Watch for the 22 area to start scaling in short, add on any pop, and then what did I say it will do? Then the stock will fade right back down 1 to 1.5 points. Now look, if you take your 22.50, 1 to 1.5 points, and it came down to 21 a share. 1 to 1.5 points. 1 to 1.5 points. 500 shares out of the gate, make 1,000. Then you wait for your short, top it off, take it at 22, add on any pop, and wait. You'll still get a point to the downside. How do I know this? 16 years of trading. So what I will do is I will take this win, put it in my book of wins, and the next time I get an S&P 600, I'll know what to do with it, just like I did this one. And for those of you that are in rooms that don't want to trade these things, I want you to look very carefully at this and say to yourself how much money you could have made. It's a simple trade, a simple stock with simple numbers. It may not be a Microsoft, it may not be an Apple, it may not be a Google, but you know what it is? It's fucking money. It's cheap money. And the more you understand how the stock market works and individual stocks work on a daily basis, this is why every day when you come into Awesome Calls Trading, I will continue to present to you 12 different ideas every single day so you can learn from each one. Okay? Anyway, I want to thank you very much for joining us today. It's fun. Market's starting to turn around a little bit. Boeing is starting to move. We're starting to get some movement. I think I might take some Boeing long right now, take it into close. So I'm going to wrap it up now. I want to thank all of you for joining us. And thank you so much. Got a lot of subs in yesterday. Thank you so much for coming in. And, thank you, Janny. Thank you very, very much. Every day is a lesson in here, traders. And again, I can't stress it enough. This room was built for education, to teach you, to help you, to coach you. I'm a phone call away. I'm a sentence away. I'm here to help you see the light, see the ideas, present them to you, um, and just kill it together. We all want to make a living, and this is the greatest way of making a living as far as I'm concerned. Okay? Thank you so much. Bye-bye.